Hey, hi everyone. This is my apartment in New York City. This is the first time we're going live from my apartment, as I just mentioned. And we have a special occasion. Well, we have many special occasions, but the most important occasion is that this is the final match day of the Bundesliga season. And the second most important occasion that we have is that this is also the day where, in the 90th minute of Bayern Munich's home game against Augsburg, Robert Lewandowski, with his fifth shot on target and his seventh shot altogether, finally beat Augsburg's keeper Ginczewicz and scored his 41st goal of the season. Now, I mean, even by itself, that's a lot because there are only 34 match days and Lewandowski was out injured for some of them in April. But the last time anyone did something similar was almost 50 years ago. Gerd Müller, the Bayern legend, he scored 40 goals in the season 1971 and 72. And so this is like half a century ago, and it was known as Ein Rekord für die Ewigkeit, a record for eternity, because it was deemed impossible that this would ever be beaten. And of course, on the last match day against Freiburg, Lewandowski equaled that record, and he pulled up his shirt and it had Gerd Müller's face on it. So that was a really nice shout out to the Bayern and Germany legend. Gerd Müller at his time, this was a different time where players still smoked at halftime, and some even had like sex during halftime and drank alcohol. And Gerd Müller was known as kleines dickes Müllerchen, which means small chubby Müller. And if we look 50 years forward, you can call Robert Lewandowski a lot of things, but he's definitely not small or chubby. His stature is very Cristiano Ronaldo-esque, and that actually has a lot to do with his wife, who is a former world-class athlete herself, in gymnastics and fitness. And hi, Connor. And she pretty much changed his nutrition, and he was one of the first players in the Bundesliga to really adapt a different kind of diet to strengthen his fitness and his performance. So what a record for him. He beat this record. It was a shot by Leroy Sané from about 20 meters out, so just outside the box. Ginczewicz was only able to save it, just two in front of him. And then Lewandowski got the ball, curved around Ginczewicz with his left foot, and then finished with his right foot and broke this record. The other thing that happened in the game Bayern Munich against Augsburg, in case you didn't watch that one live, is that this was the last game of three Bayern Munich legends, all of whom have won 2 Champions League titles and been key contributors to Bayern Munich's history and their team success for the past few years, and all of whom at different times of their career have been world-class players. So the first of these is Javi Martinez, who, when he arrived in Bayern in the summer of 2012, Bayern had just lost that epic Champions League final v Chelsea, which was probably the most imbalanced Champions League final ever, but the score sheet didn't reflect that, and Chelsea had Didier Drogba. And hi, Carla, thank you so much. And so Chelsea won the Champions League, and of course the year before that, Inter Milan had beaten Bayern Munich. I think, no, maybe it was 2 years before that. But anyway, Bayern Munich had this reputation as being losers. Bastian Schweinsteiger had lost 2 Champions League finals. Philipp Lahm had lost 2 Champions League finals. And Jupp Heynckes, who loves Spain, who knows the Spanish language very well, loves the culture. Of course, he trained Real Madrid. He said, I want this player. And no one had ever heard of this player. He played at Athletic Bilbao, and he had a set release clause. This was at a time where set release clauses weren't that common yet. So everyone in Germany was like, what does that mean? And he was like in his mid-20s or early 20s. I think he was like 24 or 25 years old. And he was like, I want this player and I want no one else. And so Javi Martinez came to Bayern Munich after very long negotiations. This was like a month-long saga. And he built that epic defensive midfield pairing with Bastian Schweinsteiger, who early on in his career had played as a winger. So it was Heynckes who put Bastian Schweinsteiger in the center of midfield. And of course, suddenly you had this tandem that was just fantastic. And we now see, some parallels to Kimmich and Goretzka. They play very different. They have very different personalities, but they are now as integral to Bayern Munich's current success as that pairing was. So this was the last game for Martinez in a Bayern jersey. He's one of the most successful players ever in European football if we count trophies. He also won a World Cup with Spain, the Euros with Spain. He's won 2 Champions League titles with Bayern and countless Bundesliga titles, probably like 8 or 9. So yeah, he said goodbye. And then, of course, David Alaba, an absolute Bayern legend who was subbed off in the final 20 minutes and gave a very long hug to Hasan Salihamidzic, to Uli Hoeneß, actually not Uli Hoeneß. Uli Hoeneß was in the ranks, but I'm sure they hugged after, and to Hansi Flick. And David Alaba holds the record as the player, the foreign player who has the most games for Bayern Munich ever. So the Austrian, I mean, what a success story for him. And we're hearing strong rumors that he's going to join Real Madrid in the summer, but nothing's set in stone. But given his flexibility, he's world-class in defensive midfield as a left back and as a center back. And he's in his best age he's in his late 20s. He's in his best age as a defensive player. So I think any team would be likely, would love to sign him on a free. So unfortunately, he's also leaving. There's some controversy with Pinit Zahavi, his agent, who really asked Bayern for too much money. And then Uli Hoeneß called him a pariah on German TV. So that was kind of ugly, but I think now all of that is forgotten. And he got a standing ovation as he left for like a minute from the very few fans who were allowed to be at Allianz Arena today. And then, of course, Jerome Boateng, who has had a difficult relationship with the Bayern superiors, who have tried many times to get rid of him, but every coach appreciated his services, especially Hansi Flick, and he's a very reliable centre-back. He was, in my opinion, one of Germany's most important players when they won the World Cup in 2014. And he's the epitome of a modern centre-back. He has great skills on the ball, can play those cutting passes deep into the opponent's half, is physical, is very fast, although he's lost some of that speed now. Is a good tackler, good at anticipating. So again, he's not that old. He's in his early 30s. And I think Jerome Boateng could definitely play for any Champions League team next season, and any team would be lucky to have him. Maybe we'll see him in the Premier League. Who knows? Hi, Luke. I'm just seeing your message. I'm actually not in Germany. I'm reporting from New York City. I live in Manhattan, where I'm a grad student. But I lived in Munich until last summer. And I lived in the north of Munich. So I actually, from my balcony and from a little window in my bedroom, I had a view of Allianz Arena, which would light up red at night. So that was really cool. So that's Bayern Munich. We also have news at the other end of the table, where Arminia Bielefeld, with a win, managed to stay in the Bundesliga. And Werder Bremen got relegated. And this is a real shame, because Werder Bremen is kind of a staple in the Bundesliga, the green and whites. And they also have Josh Sargent in their squad, one of America's most promising players, who I'm not sure. I think he will probably not stay. Supposedly Gladbach, Leverkusen, and Stuttgart, who all have attacking playing philosophies that would suit Sargent, who can play as a kind of, he can play behind the 2 central strikers on the wings or in the center. So I think he'll have his pick of clubs to go to, which is good for him and his development. But yeah, Werder Bremen is going down. They do have some other good players who I think will not make the journey down into the second Bundesliga, including Maxi Eggestein, the number 8, the midfielder, who 2 seasons ago was on the cusp of joining the German national team. He's since had a dip in form. But yeah, that's Werder Bremen. Cologne, the Billy Goats, beat Schalke in the last 10 minutes. Bornau, their defender, scored a goal that sent everyone into absolute ecstasy in Cologne. And so Schalke was not able to drag down Cologne with them into the second Bundesliga. Cologne has secured that 16th out of 18 spots and will be in the relegation game. So they have 2 games to go to see if they can beat the 3rd team in the 2nd Bundesliga. So we'll see what happens there. And let's look at the capital city for a second. This is an interesting point because most capital cities in Europe are the homes of some of the biggest clubs in the game. Think of Inter and AC. Actually, wait, that's not the capital city. But think of Rome. They have Lazio and AS Roma, 2 great brands in Italian football. Think of Madrid with Real and Atletico Madrid, who are battling it out for La Liga. Think of London. I mean, London has like 5 to 10 teams that people know. Of course, they have Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham, but there's also Crystal Palace and a bunch of other big names, Fulham. And Paris has Paris Saint-Germain, and Germany has Berlin, and Berlin has Hertha. And Hertha has always been kind of like, they're known as the gray mouse. So like kind of like an unattractive visitor who no one really wants to be there. That's a German saying. They're the little gray mouse. And Hertha has had a lot of funding recently, a lot of investment. They have been able to spend about 100 million euros on players, but still at different times of the season, they were battling relegation. Now, in Eastern Berlin, which, as we all know, was the former communist part of Berlin, and it's a very working class neighborhood that is kind of being rejuvenated. A lot of young people live there, but it's a little rough around the edges. Union Berlin lives, and Union Berlin has kind of like a cult club. The Union Berlin fans, they built their own stadium. They like constructed their own stadium with their own hands. It's called Köpenick, which is the name of the neighborhood. And Union Berlin, by winning today, qualified for the Europa League, edging out Gladbach, who missed out narrowly on that spot. And to show you like how incredible that is, Union Berlin just had made their record signing for next season. And think of like normal transfer fees in top tier, top flight European football. So like let's remember, let's just think what Union Berlin's record signing fee might be. It was 3 million euros. That's their record signing, and they're going to play in Europe next season, hopefully with fans back and people coming to Berlin again. So very, very exciting for them. Looking at Dortmund, I know we have a lot of Dortmund fans who watch this show. The Black and Yellows won this game as well. They had already qualified for the Champions League qualification by winning on the last match day, but Erling Haaland was able to add 2 goals to his account in this particular game. And he's just been absolutely stunning this season. And let's hope that this was not the last time that we saw Haaland and Sancho together in the Dortmund jersey, because it's looking like one of them, namely the Englishman, will depart from Dortmund this summer. There's said to be a gentleman's agreement. Michael Zorc, Dortmund sporting director, has confirmed this between the club and the player, that if an offer in excess of around 80 or 90 million euros comes in, so just under 100 million euros, so that would be about 80 million pounds, they will let him go, and he's in stellar form. He's likely to get minutes with the English national team at the Euros, which could drive up his price further. And I'm excited to see where he plays next season, whether that's in the Bundesliga with Dortmund or in the Premier League or elsewhere. Because we never really know what these players make odd decisions, as we remember when Cristiano Ronaldo went to the Italian league, Serie A. That was like sensational news that summer, if you recall. Or when Neymar went to PSG. We don't know. Maybe Jadon Sancho will go to an unexpected destination. I think for him, the most likely destination at the moment would be Manchester United or Chelsea. Both of these teams could afford him with a little planning. And both of those teams want him. And at both of those teams, he would be in good company with other attacking talent and other young players kind of coming up as a new generation. Carla, my room isn't that tidy. Maybe it's just the way I like currently position my laptop. But yeah, I'm doing my best. That's kind of all I have to say about this match day. If you guys have any questions or comments, anything you'd like me to discuss, you can comment and I'll address those. One more thing that I'd like to mention is just Andre Silva, the Frankfurt striker, who's also going to feature with Portugal at the Euros. Portugal, by the way, has a very, very good squad. They also have Rafael Guerreiro, who's with Dortmund. And Andre Silva is only 25 years old, and he has scored the second most goals in the Bundesliga this season. Actually, I would need to check that because it's possible that Erling Haaland overtook him with his brace today. But Andre Silva doesn't get enough attention alongside Lewandowski and Haaland. And Manchester United has been hunting down Silva for quite some time. So it's very likely as well with Frankfurt's coach departing to Gladbach, Adi Hütter, and with Freddy Bobic, the sporting director who's really built up Frankfurt, departing for Hertha. It's very likely that Andre Silva will also leave. So keep an eye on him at the Euros and in the transfer window, because there's a good chance that he'll be playing at a bigger team than Gladbach next season. Schalke, of course, is going down. This was their last Bundesliga game in a while, and a lot will happen there. A lot of players will likely leave. Players of a caliber like Amin Arid or Stuart Serda will likely have other offers and clubs pursuing them. Many other players won't and might have to make the move down to the second division. Matthew Hoppy, the very talented striker, the young American, got a call-up for the American national team this past week, so good news for him. He's had a recent increase in form again. He scored on the last match day and had some good shots on target today. So look out for him. He may well have an opportunity to leave Schalke as well. And this might be my opportunity to leave you guys, unless I'm going to give you about 20 to 30 seconds to post any questions or comments you may have that you'd like me to address, and I'll get to those. And in the meantime, just keep watching German soccer and the Bundesliga. I'm going to do an episode, I think it's going to be episode 15 of Marie's Bundesliga Minutes in the coming days, where I just present the German national team squad, kind of give you some details, like who the hell is Christian Günther? He's plays for Freiburg and got a call up, like, where have we heard of Kevin Volland before and who is he? He's also going to be in the squad and may very well start in attack instead of Timo Werner. So there's a lot to untangle, a lot to learn ahead of the Euros. This is an exciting Germany squad, so definitely watch out for that episode. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Marie Schubo. That's MarieSchubo. Follow the Transfer Exchange if you don't already. And keep up the love for German soccer and the Bundesliga. It was my pleasure to do this. I hope we can do it again soon. And all the best.